let's move on to some tight ends and quickly give them some lip service. Obviously, you're not disappointed if you drafted Antonio Gates as the number 1 tight end and then Dallas Clark, but maybe Vernon Davis, who was drafted very highly a couple years ago and failed to live up to his billing, is living up to his billing.
He was very overdrafted in a lot of leagues. Vernon Davis, every single week he brings it. I think it has something to do with the coaching change. If you remember last year, he got benched, threw a temper tantrum on the sidelines, was asked to go to the locker room. But now he's come out and he's outperformed every single one of these tight ends in the NFL. This guy has not only been a savior for the San Francisco 49ers aerial assault, well, not really aerial assault, but has really, really strengthened their passing game. But he's also given you a huge boost in fantasy if you own this guy big time. I mean, because he's got 7 touchdowns, and that goes a long way in securing a berth in your playoff league.
Yeah, and you've been high on Brent Selleck all year. There he is in the number 4 slot. And Tony Gonzalez, who's my WCOF tight end, getting the job done as an old man. I don't know how he has 38 receptions. I think he's probably 38 years old. He's doing really good. Pillow fighters, these are hard to predict.
Very.
For one thing, Robbie, the only thing that I came up with a theory about probably 5 years ago that the best way to predict pillow fighters is the teams that you think have the best chance of making the playoffs, because the pillow fighters on playoff teams are usually the highest scoring, and certainly you see it there. The Giants, Philly, New England, Minnesota, San Diego, Dallas, New Orleans, Green Bay, all those teams in the top 5 or 6 playoff bound. That brings us to our bye week report. The Giants and the Texans have a bye week. If you have Matt Schaub, which I do on one of my teams, I feel for you this week because his points are almost unreplaceable. There's almost no way you have a quarterback that's been doing as good as Matt Schaub.
Well, if you look at a guy like Josh Freeman, you can pick him easily off the waiver wire.
Right.
Or if you look to more like a guy like a Matt Hasselbeck, or maybe even a trade, because I know that all the trade deadlines are coming up pretty much this week or next week, especially in my league and your league. I'm assuming. I would definitely claim him. Maybe Matt Stafford. I know he's going into the Minnesota Vikings, but he threw for 2 touchdown passes, threw for over 300 yards. I know he had this 5 interceptions, but he got him out of his system. And I'm a big believer in rookies that they make mistakes one week, they might cut them down a little bit next week. Or Jake Delhomme or Mark Bolger, or even Vince Young. Vince Young is 2-0. Let's talk a little bit about Vince Young right now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and look at our waiver wire picks since we're talking about him anyway. You mentioned some of them. Chad Henne is out there available in some of the leagues. He may not do a lot for you, but if you're in a bind, if you're out of Matt Schaub this week or whatever, or out of Eli Manning, you can get him. And Mark Bolger is still available. He's starting to come around. And Vince Young, like you mentioned, I don't know what to say, but he's different than the quarterback that underwent mental problems. They got him benched last year.
Vince Young's really getting it done on both sides of the football. He's putting his defense in a very good spot by not turning the ball over inside the opponent's zone. For one, he's done a great job managing the football. 2, and 3, he's making great decisions, which we didn't see last year, and he really didn't get much of a chance. Kerry Collins was so hot. But look for this guy to do big things coming up, especially when he plays Jacksonville and some of the non-conference, non-divisional games that he's got coming up. Very easy schedule. A guy like Liddell Betts on your waiver wire, pick him up because I think Clinton Portis might be out for the next. I know he's out for the next week, but he might also miss the following week with the concussion, and he's always been a little banged up. Liddell Betts, this is his time to shine. He's the Redskins. I mean, like I said, this team's in total disarray. Guy I would look to start, though, is Liddell Betts, maybe because he's a little bit quicker. He's more agile, more aggressive than Clinton Portis is. I know Clinton Portis throws his weight out there, but I like Liddell Betts. If you're going to pick up a guy like him, you definitely want this guy on your team.
Betts is solid, and you have these Detroit players that you can pick up, one of which is Maurice Morris. Colby Smith is a guy in Kansas City. I'm not really convinced about Jamal Charles that much. That obviously they let Larry Johnson go, and nobody on this show ever liked Larry Johnson, as we know, or ever drafted him. But I tell you what, if you have Larry Johnson on your team, hold on to him. Don't waive him right just yet because he's eligible to be picked up by another team, and you never know what will happen.
You were so high on that guy too, Doug. I just want to throw that out there that you would love this guy.
Never liked him. I never liked him. As far as wide receivers go, you could pick up somebody like Lance Long from Kansas City as well. Greg Camarillo is out there from Miami. And Chris Chambers recently got transferred to Kansas City. Maybe the change of scenery will do him some good.
Well, Mike Wallace, a guy that I think's picked up in most leagues. I think that's another guy.
Pretty much.
Randall L. maybe. Sammy Strouder out of Tampa Bay. He's a very good pick because he fits that slot. He's a small guy. Fits that slot perfectly. Catches a lot of football.
And Meacham recently came alive as well.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. Tight ends, I really don't like picking up tight ends because you just never know. But a guy like Brandon Pettigrew caught a touchdown catch the other day. Sean Ryan, Jeff King, Dante Rosario, Randy McMichaels, those guys have been getting it done in the past. So if you have a guy on bye, look to pick these guys up.
Yeah, and don't forget Rosario Dawson from TV.
All right.
She's apparently, Rosario Dawson has now become an NFL tight end and quit her TV career. So that brings us to Weather Bunnies, of course. As you may or may not know, we used to have Weather Bunnies on this show last year and in previous years. And, if you're the type of woman that wants to be on TV, like that beautiful woman there, Dominica Davis, I believe, on Fox News.
I thought it was your girlfriend.
Shown in the picture. Well, yeah, is the key word. She used to be my girlfriend, not anymore. She just,
tough.
Her head got too big for her, and, I had to let her go. But if you like football and, you're interested, we have launched some good broadcasting careers from this show for Weather Girls, and it's always great for our fans to have that type of analysis in the show. And with that said, we have about 14 or 15 matchups with 12 minutes to go, so let's get right on it. The Chicago is playing San Fran, who is favored by 3.
All right, well, I like Chicago in this spot. San Fran's obviously a little, after they started out 4-1, they've been real ice cold. Offense doesn't really know how to get going right now. I watched that game against Tennessee. Didn't really do much to move the ball. Frank Gore is a must start. Alex Smith, don't know that much about him. It's a Thursday night game. I like Chicago. Jay Cutler, Matt Forte. Hopefully he gets on track. I don't think it's going to happen. Start Devin Hester. Greg Olsen had a heck of a week last week with 3 touchdown catches. And hopefully he can build on this performance. And Jay Cutler, like I said, he was in the top 12. He's also a great guy. If you have him on your team, definitely a must start. And
Frank Gore is just awesome whenever he's in the game. If he's not injured or whatever, he's awesome. New Orleans is favored by 14. They're going to St. Louis Rams, who obviously stink. I'm not sure what to make of this line right now. I'm trying to make up my mind. I know New Orleans is at least 14 points better than St. Louis, but on the road, and St. Louis seems to be improving a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, St. Louis you have to start your Saints at all. Yeah, right. St. Louis came off a bye week last week, and they're catching 14 points at home. Hopefully, Mark Bolger's a little healthy. I know he's a little gimpy the past couple weeks, but still, Drew Brees, Marquise Colston, Devery Henderson, Meacham, Jeremy Shockey, Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas. Too much offensive firepower for the St. Louis Rams. Horrible defense to really contain. I love the New Orleans Saints in the spot. Yep, Jacksonville at the New York Jets are favored by 7. This is not a big surprise because Jacksonville is just real erratic, and they're not that good to begin with. And the Jets are kind of erratic too, but I think they're a little bit better. Certainly the loss of Leon Washington to injury does not help them much at all. But you still have Thomas Jones, and you still have this guy Sean Green, who's starting to make a big impact. He is. He absolutely is. Yeah, it's a good thing you talked about this guy, a good rookie running back. Good compliment to Thomas Jones. But a guy that really helped this team's offense is Braylon Edwards. They picked him up via trade, and I think Mark Sanchez has really thrown the ball. He's gotten to know him a little bit better. They're gelling on offense. His first game, he caught a touchdown pass. Should have been 2 touchdown catches. But I think New York Jets at the home, I love them. I think you start Braylon Edwards. I think you start maybe Sean Green and Thomas Jones as well. So I like New York Jets in the spot. Yeah, and you have to start obviously Maurice Jones-Drew and Mike Sims-Walker if you have them, because they are seriously on fire this season. As we covered, Jones-Drew, number 1 running back. You can't skip him. Atlanta is giving away 1.5 points apparently at Carolina. I think they're about 15 points better than Carolina if they were playing at Atlanta. So I'll subtract 3, and I expect Atlanta to win by at least 10 points. I know Carolina is not that good, and I know Atlanta is pretty good. And what they have tended to do this year, Atlanta, in my opinion, with this great running back attack of Michael Turner, with the 1-2 punch of him, and then Matt Ryan coming in and throwing the ball, what they've done to the teams that are not that good is destroy them in general. I think so too. I think Matt Ryan's hot right now.